It's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you are at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy this show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can be part of the adventure tonight in the chat room and participate with others as they watch the show. If you are listening later, please give it a like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app so that you can get all of the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. If you would like to become a patron, click on the Become a Patron link on the front page of the Geocache Talk website or head over to patreon.com/Geocache Talk for more details. Patrons get the now famous blackout coins and other geocaching items during the year. Support levels start as low as the Bison Tube level, which is only $3 a month.
Thanks to Derek of Baker Six Clan for our new opening. Oh wow, I definitely hear myself. And let me turn myself down. Sorry. Let me try that. And our new opening, thank you. And our featured patrons, Sodak Zach, the Deadliest Cachers, Terrell 2, Bob Billy, the Redneck Geocacher, Team D&D, Peachy 1276, the No Code Geocachers, Mark the Panic, Brickerchon, Firesafe, and our new patrons, Widget Brittle, Action Trinity, and TKD Scouter. All right. Well, let's jump right into show 242 as we discuss guidelines.
Guidelines, not even rules, just guidelines.
Guidelines. Are they guidelines? Are they rules?
Some of them are.
I think they're rules.
Some of them are, you must, you shall kind of deal. Some of them are you shouldn't. Shouldn't to me means you can. Just means you probably shouldn't.
Right. Gary can turn himself all the way down, I guess, when he's spilling the beans. That's pretty funny.
That'd be cheating, wouldn't it?
Good day, Aussie Geocacher. So we had something that, yes, new mic. Yes, thank you, new mic. We had something from last week. I think, Jesse, let's start with that, and then we'll do some news. But I wanted to start with a email that we got. And now I can't find it. Where'd it go? Hold that thought. Ow. I delete that. Boys, we're off to a rip start, aren't we?
I know. You need a new mic, but if the new mic, if you don't say anything to the new mic, it's not any better than the old one.
Oh yeah. Hi, new mic. Oh, I'm supposed to talk to the mic? Oh, maybe not.
Yeah.
Okay. So
break it in easy though. You don't want to break it in all at one time.
Right. Don't let the other ones. Where did I even put the other one? That's bad. The other one's like gone. I didn't throw it away or anything. It's around here somewhere. So we got an email this week that it was a cease and desist letter, Jesse. So
that sounds pretty official to me.
It does. And let me read you what it says here. It says, as a founding member of the Men Wearing Purses Club, I took offense to your hating. I didn't hate on this either. Why is this directed at me? I don't know, because I didn't hate on it. But anyway.
You can't backtrack now. You were bullying me.
I don't think it was me. I think it was the chat room that was bullying you. It says, I took offense to your hating on Jesse in last week's show for wearing a man purse. A waist bag with its facing the front makes a perfect travel and geocaching bag. And then they said you can't use the word fanny in England or on Australia. You'll get a slap in the face. Apparently, that's not a good word to use. We live and work overseas. I started using one 25 years ago when our kids were infants. I needed somewhere safe to keep passports, water bottle, coloring books, toys. I don't know what all he put in his fanny pack. It seems to be a lot.
Hey, they're magic. They're bigger on the inside.
They must be, and I guess I can't say fanny pack. It's a merce. A merce. It's a European carry-all, as Seinfeld would say. Once I started geocaching, I figured out the front-facing bag was perfect to keep tots, extra containers, logbooks, and back before smartphones, printouts of the caches I was going after. And he actually has he even gives a model. Mountain Smith.
See, there you go.
Not a.
It's a good recommendation.
Mountain Smith, who's they're not a sponsor, but we're mentioning them anyway. Shout out to Mountain Smith. Maybe they will become a sponsor someday. They're based in Golden, Colorado, so not too far from you.
Oh, there you go. My current one does not have a brand on it. It came from Walmart, but
okay. Well,
I may or may not have a custom one coming to me.
Go by Coors in Golden, Colorado, and pick you up a Mountain Smith. Has a web pouch on each side, one for my water bottle, the other for my GPS. I've used it for over 10 years. I've included a photo of me. He gives photos. Anyway, it goes on. That's from Dune Buddy. So
hey, thank you, Dune Buddy, for protecting me. He's in my back.
Yeah, I like that. That was pretty good.
Look, I challenge anybody. If you wear a fanny pack out to go geocaching, you will never not wear it. It is extremely convenient.
Yeah, UDAC. I get lost. Which name was offensive? I think fanny is the word you can't say.
You should probably keep saying that so we're explicit in all those countries. Good job.
No, I don't want to do that. Craig wants to know if it has a travel bug yet.
Oh, you know what? It does not, but that would have been a genius idea.
That's okay. You got time.
Yeah, I got time. Maybe it will. Who knows?
Which, speaking of, let's do a little news. You have time because starting the news off is Mingo Madness. We are 27 days, if I calculated
27
correctly.
days. It's going to happen now. It's real. It's really going to happen. We're close.
We are.
And there's going to be actual live people there. It's going to be outdoors. It's going to be a lot of fun, good weather, and tons of caches too. Plus, we've already talked about all the things going on. So,
oh yeah, well, yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, we'll get into some of that. Ryan, what? Yeah, 27 days, buddy. You better be ready. He just got back from there, which is kind of funny.
Because he's there like 3 times a week right now.
He's there every week.
He drives out there every day.
Yes. I've gotten distracted by the chat room. This is why I should not read the chat room, but I do. Scott says he's got what he calls it a waist pack. That's interesting way to. I mean, sure.
Is that waist, Scott? Did you mean to spell it that way,
waist
or WAIST? Because there's a different meaning there. I'm not sure which one you're going with.
Yeah, is that where you like if you take your dog out on a walk?
Oh, gross. Don't finish that one. Don't finish that. he does catch with a dog, so maybe that's what it is.
What about booty bag?
I don't think that should catch on.
Okay. He's bringing it back. He's bringing booty back.
The new promotion just started too, didn't it? Or does it start tomorrow?
Yeah, it starts tomorrow, April 12th.
New promotion starts tomorrow.
Yeah, is the new
just wait till you come to Mingo and there'll be enough labs you'll be able to solve. You'll get all the points, everything you need.
Yeah.
Without the geo art and the brand new earth caches or anything else, you'll be able to get it with just labs alone, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Daniel calls it a hip pack. I like that. Yeah. We did a ton. We talked about, I think we mentioned it at some point about Texas Challenge. I had never really done a whole lot in a day. I think my record that was 38. I think I said 36. I think it was 38. And
not anymore.
It was 130. How many was it?
I think you got 142.
Yeah.
Just in letterboxes.
Just in letterboxes. So it was right. It was like 175. No, wasn't that many. 150?
You can look it up on your stats.
I'll look it up in a minute. Anyway.
You definitely blew it out of the water, though.
I blew it out of the water. Like, really blew it out of the water. So, yeah, I rolled through all the wonders of the world. So I think I'll be able to roll through this next one pretty easily.
Oh, absolutely.
But looking forward to it. The geo art, I think, is really going to be very cool.
It should be cool. It's puzzles.
Know you've been working on that quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. I think somebody was out there today, this weekend, in fact, installing a lot more of them. So
he did, just getting them all situated, which I think.
And I know many people have asked about those. I have it on good authority that those will come out at least about a couple weeks before, so people can solve them for that's what you want to do in GR, right? You don't want to sit in the field solving those. You want to solve all the puzzles before you get there. So
solve ahead of time.
So you'll have a full couple weeks at least.
Yeah. Adam's asking that when can we start solving? Yeah, pretty soon. Tom's excited. You said puzzles. You got him started up now.
Yeah, puzzles. Like I said, the earth caches, brand new earth caches for town, more gadget caches for town, a bunch of labs in town. You can't beat it.
Oh, yeah.
That's not even to mention like concerts and all that other stuff too, right?
Everything
and
else going on.
The fun events that'll be there, but
tons of stuff. Earthcache Power Trail you created.
Yeah, a mini power trail. Yeah, there's 8 of them, 8 brand new ones, all in one walk.
All in one walk. I love that idea. That's a cool spot. Yeah, sorry, Cache Canada. I know there's I saw that there's an event in Ontario. I think it's on. Yeah, it was Ontario province. It was still on for this fall. Ellen A. Go don't shoot me for getting it wrong, but at least I saw that it was on the list. So hopefully,
somebody mentioned how about Mingo Madness puzzle talk episode. Yeah, there will definitely be some puzzle talk, geocache talk, gadget talk, everything coming from Mingo. So we know people not everybody can attend. So we'll definitely try to cover it as much as we possibly can for everybody.
Yes.
So
yeah, most definitely. So I did want to mention, there we go. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Thank you, Cache Candy. LNA Mega still on, or it's showing that it's actually on, which I think is awesome. So I'm really hoping for that. So that is awesome. So we don't have a great picture of this right now. We'll get a better one, but I'm very excited. Did you remove it? You took it out. No, it's still there.
Yeah, I didn't take it out. I just couldn't get a good picture of it yet. But
yeah, we'll get a better picture of it. But we did want to mention there's a new shirt in the shop that was created by Bounce Bounce. It's sponsored by the Gadget Talk podcast. It's a May the 4th be with you shirt. So check that out. Go to the third page on the shop and you'll see that. And different sizes, different colors. So there's my shameless plug for the shop, which is
not that there's any way that there's possibly a crossover between geocaching fans and Star Wars fans.
No,
not at all. There's no way there's any crossover there at all.
Yeah, there's a lot. I love Star Wars, but don't get me started.
I heard they made more than one of those movies.
They did. I'm currently every week watching the Disney Plus stuff. The Falcon and Winter Soldier is going great. I'm enjoying that, but I digress.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'll say one more bit of news before we get on with the show. Too. We have book club tomorrow night.
Oh, good. Book club.
Yes. We have book club tomorrow night, and we have the next few months picked out. So we have some really good books lined up for anybody that hasn't read. That's okay. Join us anyway.
Yeah.
For the people that have read, join us because we need somebody that's read the book. And then we're going to end up talking about geocaching anyway. But
exactly.
We have an amazing ability to relate every single book to geocaching.
Exactly.
So it's fun. We goof off. We have a lot of fun in that club. So any patrons that want to join us tomorrow night, Monday night, the link will be in the patron. You'll get it through the Patreon.
Yes. Awesome. Yes. Thank you for doing that, you and Christy. I think it's been very successful. Colored book, yeah, we could do that. That's about the kind of book I read. So
yeah, those adult coloring books are actually pretty fun.
They are.
It sounds silly, but they're actually a lot of fun.
Yes. Okay. On to all nerds. Trish says she's still reading, so at least she's into the book. So that means that You know, she can be
Yeah.
there. She can speak to it.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good.
Any patron is welcome to join us. Everybody can have fun with it. We have fun no matter what, no matter how much you've read of the book.
So Whiskey says she can. You can definitely quiz her. She's read it.
There we go.
She says a fun one. So y'all picked out a good one. So good for y'all. All right. Well, let's get started. We've got a quiz that Jesse has no idea about.
Shocker.
Yes. Very excited. So we got a couple parts to it. You can play along at home. You can play along in the chat room. Try to give Jesse some ideas or some hints if he gets stuck. And we start with a true false. So yeah, you got a 50-50 chance.
There you go.
So good luck. Good luck with all that. So here we go. Start with some true false. And I grabbed from a couple of different areas, but I've actually scheduled another guidelines down the road this year because I saw an area of the guidelines that I'm not even going to talk about tonight that I want to do as a full show.
Okay.
So it sparked a really interesting ideas in my brain. I said, we need to do a whole show on that. That's definitely for another show.
Yes.
So everybody take a drink.
Before we start, I will say that I have read the guidelines before.
Good.
But they do change. And often they change and we don't even know unless you go back and read them again. They don't do like a press release every time they change one little thing in there. So
yes. Kate wants to know the answer was true. No, it wasn't. It is false. That is correct. So you got one right. So good job, Kate.
Woo-hoo, 1 point.
All right, here we go.
All right.
It's going to bounce around a little bit, but don't worry about that. You'll be
Okay.
fine. All right, true or false? All local, and I didn't go for real tricky, like, oh, you missed a word here. Oh, so I tried to avoid that.
Okay.
I really want it to be not like a trick question. So here we go. First one, all local laws and land management policies apply. We're talking about hiding caches.
Okay.
This refers to both the place. Oh, actually, it finishes. This refers to both the placement of the geocache and the journey required to reach it. Is that a true or false statement from the guideline?
True.
That is true.
Yeah.
I found it interesting that the way they worded it was actually really good because not only is the placement important and it follows the local laws and land management, but people might forget that you might have gone some route to get to it. Others might not take the same route, and they need to be able to do it without breaking any local laws, etc.
Have you made this mistake yourself?
I haven't, but I've thought about this though.
I have.
Have you really?
Yeah. One of my first hides, and we may have talked about it before, but I found a perfectly legal way to get to where I was going to hide the cache.
Right.
I did not think ahead to think there's also illegal ways to get there, and cachers are going to take the shortest route every time.
Yeah, that's true.
So just because there is one legal way doesn't mean they're not going to walk right through the illegal way and cause damage. So that was a short-lived hide, and I learned a lot from it.
Yep. No,
so if you're hiding a cache, definitely look at other ways that people might cut through somebody's private property or whatever to get there, and find a way to make sure people don't do it.
And this actually could be part of the other show I was talking about, but it made me think about when you place a cache, I always think about, or the way I try to keep it in my brain is that cachers aren't going to come try to look for your cache. A herd of elephants are going to come look for it.
That is correct.
And a herd of elephants don't care what's in front of them. So we had a cache here in town that was placed. Oh, my Google Maps take me to residential yards next to woods.
Yeah, just because Google Maps takes you to one place doesn't mean that's a good parking location.
Exactly.
Exactly what Direwolf just said.
Yeah,
it may put you on the closest logical place, but that doesn't mean it's the closest legal place to get to that cache.
Right. There was a cache placed in town where, we had been even caching not very long, but we kind of knew, the cache should be around this area, but let's kind of at least be careful, let's use our brain here. The cacher got real mad and archived it. And I thought, I'm gonna go back by and look. And yeah, it looked like a herd of elephants had gone through this area. Now it wasn't a good spot because there was some local landscaping that people just obliterated. So they walked all over everything. And it's like,
yeah, that's a shame.
Morons, you have that cache archive because of you morons not doing what you should do, which is be careful. Be careful when you look for a cache, but also be careful where you put them because the herd of elephants are going to come. So
right.
Okay, next one. So we got a bunch. We need to get going. Okay. Geocaching HQ may further restrict geocaches in areas where geocache saturation becomes a concern.
That is true.
True, but have you ever heard of it happening?
I could see it happening. So if somebody was doing it, close to a park, just because you have, 528 feet normally, doesn't mean that you need one every 528 feet, like in a public area, right? You know, that's fine for a power trail, but that's not necessarily what you need everywhere. So I could see them restricting it if it was causing some kind of problem, right? Like in some kind of public area with, I don't know, where kids are supposed to play, or a soccer field. You don't need one in the middle of a soccer field, or, somewhere like that. Yeah. Not that anybody would ever have one without permission, but if they did, I could see them restricting it.
Ryan says he saw one where in Germany that saw that happen. So what comes to mind is when we had on Gary from Earth Cache, the first Earth Cache reviewer, and he mentioned that I can see that where Earth caches can no longer be, he gave the example in Minnesota of the striations or whatever, I think it was striations, whatever it was. It's like there's a billion of up there. They don't need another.
Right, and that's
billion number one.
Yeah, that's less proximity and more saturation of the same cache, right? Because there's no proximity issues with virtual, with ones that have no containers. Yeah, but you can overdo. I wish they would say that with LPC. We're sorry, we're saturated in this city with that. We're not publishing any more of those. But enough of those. We don't do that, right? So
yeah. All right, next question. Let's move on. Caches require geocachers to contact the cache owner or anyone else, may be placed with owner permission.
Is that a question?
Yeah, caches that require the geocacher to contact the cache owner or anyone else may be placed with owner permission. True or false?
No, you can't require them to contact the cache owner. I don't quite understand that question.
So, can you place a cache that requires the geocacher to contact the cache owner or someone else? But to do that, you have to have owner's permission to place a cache like that.
I would say I'm still a little confused, but I'm going to say false because it sounds like I know in certain circumstances, well, that's hard to say, right? Because like a virtual, you do have to contact the cache owner to find that one. Yeah. But a regular cache, like a challenge, you're not required to contact. You just have to prove that you have it, right? So I'm going to say false because I'm a little confused on the question.
Well, what's interesting is we have a reviewer in the audience tonight, and the only one that got it right, Dick Cloak. Yes. And let me explain further. So, and people are.
I'm going to say bad question.
Hey, I didn't write the guideline. They did.
You wrote the question.
I did. Okay, let me read this again. I basically cut and paste though. Don't get.
First of all, it was true false, and he said yes, so he didn't get it right either.
Well, Yes, it is true. Is what he meant.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with Scott. That was a trick question.
Trick question. No, it's not a trick question.
Because it is a yes and no.
Scott thinks it's a trick question. Is this true? Can you place a cache? Can you place a cache that requires geocachers to contact the cache owner?
If you just leave it at that part and don't say the rest of the question, the answer is true. But you had more to that question.
I did. Well, that's the way it's worded in the guidelines. Or anyone else may be placed with owner permission. Yeah, it's a little confusing. I understand.
Yeah, that one's confusing because it's both, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, you can place a cache with owner permission that requires the geocacher to contact somebody, which we always thought that was never allowed, but oh well.
Yeah, that seems like two different parts to that.
Yeah, it kind of does. All right, next question.
I thought you weren't going to be tricky tonight, but go ahead. I see how you're going. I see how you're doing it.
I'm going to have some questions in here that are tricky. So.
That's fine. I like tricky. That's good.
Temporary caches intended to stay active for fewer than 3 months will not be published. True or false?
True. There is an exception, though.
That is true.
It is true. The exception would be events.
Yes, that's true. So the wording in the guidelines probably should have put that. But I guess they don't consider that a temporary cache. They consider that.
That's a finite event, a finite amount of time. But yes, 3 months. It needs to be more than 3 months for a cache.
Yep. Okay, next one.
Which used to be a lot longer in the rules.
It was, yes. Yep. Scott is correct. Yes, it's true. Ryan's correct. Everybody's correct. Good job, everybody. A 3-month event would be cool. That's not really a temporary event at that point. How long can you make an event? Oh, I think can't go over 24 hours, right? Unless it's an event.
No, you can have an event that's all weekend, like a camping event. As a matter of fact, I don't want to mess up your questions, but as a matter of fact, if you have an event that's multi-day, but it's all intended to be the same location and the same people, it should be combined into one event.
Right, which is interesting.
Like if you have a camping event, you're not going to have one Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, right? It's all one weekend event.
Right.
So that would be like 3 days worth of it.
Dick says 1 day. So a 10-hour CITO. There you go. Now we're talking. Yeah. Very cool. Okay, next question. You cannot bury a geocache.
False. You can bury a geocache with explicit permission of the property owner, but it has to be given in writing, and you got to give it to the reviewer. We have a reviewer in the audience.
You're mostly correct.
You got to get explicit permission from the landowner.
Yes.
That explicitly says you can bury the cache also.
That part is correct, but you can. Now, here's the trick, though, that maybe as well, but you cannot bury a cache in such a way that
they can't have to dig for it.
Yeah, the geocacher has to be able to find it.
Right. See, look, I'm right.
Without digging.
Yeah. Well, there was that old video that this is a good throwback, but it's an old Earth cache video. That remember the one they did, the one where they're digging to the center of the Earth.
Right.
Remember that old promotion they did? It was I can't remember what it was called now, but it was a video where they're placing an Earth cache center of the Earth, but they had to dig to it. Yeah. And they were going to be first to find. The geocaching team was, and then right before they did it, they archived it. They're like, "Wait, you can't dig for a cache."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Buried caches need permission to hide a cache in a way that creates a hole in the ground. First, gets explicit permission from the landowner. Examples of cache hides that need explicit permission are the following. I'm gonna put this in the banner because I found this fascinating.
First of all, and I think burying caches, the reason why they have that in there is because not that you would bury a cache like a buried treasure, but sometimes they'll have like a tube in the ground.
Yeah.
And they'll put the cache down in that, which is different than like Mingo.
Yeah, it's in
Mingo would be follow under this
grandfather
guideline, right?
Right.
Explicit permission. It's technically buried in the ground, although it's just got a rock on top of it, right? But it's down in the ground.
Right. Yeah, and if you were to try to do a Mingo type cache today, the owner would have to give you permission to dig the hole to place the cache that does not require a geocacher to dig or bring a shovel, that kind of thing. But this is interesting. Did you know about this? This is a sort of a did you know? Caches that are mounted on a pole which is partially underground, no matter if the pole was driven into the ground or fixed into the ground with cement. That also caches that are partially or fully underground. Wait, I didn't get to finish the. It didn't finish.
That would count as a buried cache if you added the pole for the specific purpose of putting the cache there, right?
Yeah, you're supposed to get explicit permission for those. Those fall into the explicit permission category.
If you're adding it new, right? Because otherwise the telephone pole would count as that.
Right.
Obviously telephone poles, but you don't get explicit permission for that because you're not burying anything.
Right.
Yeah. So if you're adding a new pole, like say,
just drive a
birdhouse cache, you put the post in the ground, do that. Yep. If you're putting something into the ground, you're disturbing that ground. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to have permission.
Yeah.
With permission, geocachers may place caches in space. True or false?
That is correct. In space or on a space shuttle or a space ship or something.
Yes. You have to get permission. Most always.
You can't just sneak one on the space shuttle. Is that what you're?
No, you cannot.
Call Elon up. Hey, SpaceX, when do you have your next launch?
Yeah. Okay. Now we're gonna switch gears a little bit. Go into the world of trackables for a minute.
Oh gosh. There's one aspect of trackables that's so confusing for me, and I guarantee it's going to be one of your questions. But
it's coming up. I actually have a separate page I'm going to bring up for that. So, first question: logging trackables that you have not personally seen is not allowed. True or false?
It's not allowed. It happens all the time. I would say true. It's not allowed.
The answer is false. The guidelines state it is up to the trackable owner to state if they allow this or not.
So does that mean you haven't seen the trackable or you haven't seen the trackable? I don't know. Okay. All right. That sounds good.
They changed it, I think, in such a way that you are now allowed to discover something that you personally have not seen. Like if I just throw a number,
like right behind you, that's a trackable number. That's not a trackable.
Right. Well, yeah, a trackable number. Same. Yeah. But like if I just typed into the chat room a trackable number and you log it, it's allowed. If
you're the owner.
If you're the owner, number one, you have to get the owner's permission to log it. So all those ones that people would put out,
like a list of somebody else's trackables, that's frowned upon.
Yeah, very frowned upon.
Yeah,
extremely frowned upon. Yeah.
I was thinking the actual trackable itself, not the trackable number.
Right.
Yeah.
Which comes to my next question. We've kind of answered it, but I'll throw it out there anyway. Do not couch log a trackable without the owner's permission. True or false?
Well, I think that's true.
True. Yeah, we already talked about it. This is interesting. The rules, the guidelines say your log is subject to deletion and there may be disciplinary action against your geocaching account. Pretty strong words.
They've got to have some recourse though, right?
Yeah, they do.
I mean, there's people that are it's a 6-digit code. It's not that hard to guess those.
Right.
Anybody with computer knowledge could write a program to just turn those out, right?
Yep.
It's only A through Z and 0 through 9, right? So you've got to have some kind of regulations for them to be able to control that if somebody abuses the system.
Yep. So, Tom, you would be subject to the wrath of HQ potentially if you did.
Yeah.
So that is not allowed in the guidelines. Your log is subject to deletion, and there may be disciplinary action against your geocaching account.
Yeah. So I think the difference here is if you're posting your own, you can do whatever you want with your own tracking number.
Yes.
You just can't post somebody else's.
Right.
Yeah.
So Robert's saying, what is Gary's trackable code, TB code? Well, the one behind me, I own, and I give permission for people to log it. That's where it's allowed. So there you go. So there's that. All right.
Yeah, there's a group of people that have. Yeah, you'd have to. There are groups of people out there, as Geocaching Adam said, that are sharing trackable numbers, and you'd have to be able to find a way to prove that people are doing that. And you can file a complaint on them, right, for doing that.
Yeah. You can
headquarters. I think it'd be hard for headquarters to track them down unless they had proof of who did it. But I think that's why they did. They took the discovery of trackables off of. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? No, as people are asking if they can see the code behind me.
Oh yeah. I think that's why headquarters took the trackable code. I mean, the trackable discovery number off the main page.
Right.
So it would discourage people from having 80,000 trackable discoveries or whatever.
Yeah, and so Adam, one thing you can do, A, you can lock your trackable so nobody can log it. But B, if you know the people are, and there were people that did this. Remember, Jesse, that there was people who I read were sent notes to geocaching.com and said, there's no way that people could log this trackable. It's like, it's in a book. It's in,
yeah,
it's in my collection of coins and nobody's seen it. And they're just logging it because somebody posted it somewhere. You can tell people, you can send their geocaching name to HQ and say, this person logged my trackable without my permission. And you can take a screenshot, or you can just send them whatever you want. And they'll investigate further. So it's a serious thing. You should not log it unless you know that you have permission to do that.
Yeah. Nope. None of us actually saw the Mars rover, probably.
Yes, and people are all complaining about this, by the way. And it was like,
what was the complaint?
The complaint was that people were sharing the number. And it was like, oh, don't share it. Make people work for it. And it's like, okay, whatever. I don't know. Don't get on social media. That's the real answer to that question. But there were some people who were like mad about it. It's like, you're not. And then somebody finally put it. I saw a note again. Stay off social media for the most part, except if you want to promote Geocache Talk. That's the only reason I see. I don't. It's the only thing I see as a point to get on there. But anyway,
people get all upset about things that really don't matter a lot.
They do.
Guess what? This is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
And none of the rest matters. So
no. Okay, on to a trackable icon quiz.
Oh gosh.
Yes. Dun dun dun. Okay, let's go down the list. What is the first icon that you see? What is that?
Grabbed.
You are correct. That is a retrieve, picked up from
retrieve,
Geocache,
yeah,
or event. Retrieve.
Grabbed from cache, I think is what it used to be called, right?
Probably. Yeah. What's the next one?
Dropped off.
Dropped off. Correct. What's the check mark?
Visited.
Yeah. Or just discovered.
Discovered, yeah.
Discovered at a geocache, at a geocache or an event. You could discover them there too. The next one.
I don't see any more.
Oh,
I only see 3.
I am so sorry. Let me.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh wow! Look at these. Maybe that would be visited.
The recycle.
The 2 arrows.
The blue and the green. Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, the blue and the green.
Blue down, green up.
Maybe dipped.
No. That one is you getting any help in the chat room?
Swap. Somebody said swap. Visited.
Direwolf said swap. Trackable recycles.
Yeah.
No. Tom's no help tonight, but he is funny. Recycle. Taken from a cashier.
Grab from somewhere.
Yes.
That's what are these from? Are these from the geocaching.com guidelines? Is that what this is from?
Guidelines.
Huh. Okay.
Owen is correct. That is interesting. That is not, well, grabbed is technically not the correct. It's partially correct. It is a grab, but that is not a grab from a cache.
This is grab from cacher?
Yes, that is grabbed from somebody.
Oh, okay.
There's a special icon, which we're looking at right now for audio listeners. It's got a blue arrow down and a green up. Like it looks like sort of a recycle.
Yeah.
Icon. And the way it's explained in the guidelines, it says picked up from someone else, not in a cache. And then in quotes, it says grabbed. Okay, what's the next one? The green one.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't know there was this many actions you could do with a trackable.
I know, and that pretty wild, huh?
Maybe we've already used dipped and visited and everything else. I'm going to go with visited. That's what the chat room is saying.
Yeah, chat room. Some of the chat room folks are saying visited. And the correct answer is yes. Dipped is another way people put it.
Dipped. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember that one. I think my problem is that I don't do a lot of the trackable stuff in the official app.
Auto visited is in the notes. It's like, what? And of course, the last, or the one before with the exclamation point.
I would say missing.
Yeah, the icon for that is marked as missing.
Okay.
And the last one is, of course,
just a right note.
Right note about the log icon for moving into and out of inventory and collections. So good job. Good job. You did.
This shows how infrequently I mess with trackables.
Yeah. But interesting that there's little,
You know what we should do?
Yeah.
We should have a Cachely quiz.
Oh, that'd be fun.
For using, I like that one.
Yeah. Trackable has
questionable motives. I'm going with that one. We should
I like that.
We should send that one into HQ. Trackable has questionable motives.
The trackable will steal your pen. Yes, it might. You be careful with that. All right.
Those were hard. Let's move on.
Those were hard. Let's switch gears. Okay. Next we're moving off of trackables and we're going to your account. Geocaching account. Couple of questions on that. True or false? You can block another geocacher from seeing your public profile page or your geocaching activity. True or false?
Is that a single geocacher or block anybody?
You can block another geocacher. I guess it really means anybody.
Okay, then true.
You can block the public from seeing your public profile page
or
your geocaching activity.
I know you can block your stats. Your public profile and your activity.
Yeah, the way it's worded is you can block another geocacher from seeing your public profile page.
I'm going to say false.
Or your geocaching activity. The answer is false.
Okay. Because you can block the stats, but I don't think you can block the public page. And I know the activity still shows up because people with blocked stats, you can still see their activity if you go into the second tab, the geocaches tab. Yeah,
so it's really weird. The way it's worded, and you can Google this too, you can see it where it says that you cannot block your public page from anyone. I mean, you can't block it.
Right.
Now, here's what most people are, when I say that, people immediately think what I'm about to tell you, which is geocaching statistics are a premium feature As a default, other premium members can see your stats on your public profile. To make your stats private, you go to your statistics and unselect it and go from there.
Yeah.
So,
and you can hide your statistics.
yes,
Which even applies in Project GC when it pulls it, but not that public page. So that makes sense.
Yeah, I found that interesting because I thought, well, surely there's got to be a way. Don't call me Shirley, but there's surely going to be a way. So here, I'll put in the banner so you can see it, because I found it to be interesting. I did not know this. Now, if something's changed, Dick could probably fill us in if something has been changed, because he's a current reviewer. At this time, there's no way to block another geocacher from seeing your public profile page or your geocaching activity, but you can take steps to better protect your privacy, et cetera.
Right. You can block your stuff. You can not do pictures of your face. You can block your email address. You know, you can make it hidden. There's a lot of things you can do, but you've got to have a public profile, right?
Yeah. You can take off photos. You don't
have to have anything on your public profile.
Right. You can put you can put false information about where you live. You don't have to put your home coords. There's a lot of things you can do. But interesting.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
Tricky stuff.
Dick's correct. Stats. So you can block stats. So
yes.
Darov wants people to be blocked from Iowa. I don't know if that's really allowed. And Tom says he shares beer with his friends. So I guess that's true too. So, because he says Tom blocks any door he is in. That's mean in a sense, I think. Okay, next question.
Hey, Owen had a big day. He went and got some brand new geocaches today too. I happen to know about. They were just published in the area of the Mingo Madness area.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to keep all those fresh till we get out there.
It's going to be a lot of people. You're not going to be able to get everywhere.
No, that's true. And you and I are going to be busy. It's going to be. We're going to try to do as many as we can, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, this one's fascinating. Hope people are enjoying this. Send us a email, geocachetalk@gmail.com. Become a patron, blah, blah, blah. Log caches a couple days after you find them and backdate your logs is not allowed. True or false? I'll read it again.
Logging caches a couple days after and then backdate them?
And backdate them is not allowed.
Backdate them to the date you found them or before?
Yeah. Backdate them to the day you found them. So logging caches a couple days after you find them and backdate your logs is
that's what you should do. You're logging the correct date, right?
Not allowed. You're supposed to log it. You should log caches the day you find them is what they're encouraging you to do.
But it's not against the rules because a lot of people still cache with GPS and they're on a road trip. They're not going to be able to log them immediately.
Yeah, I was trying to fool you. You are correct.
Yeah.
It is false. In fact, it's actually encouraged.
Yeah. Because you don't want to, if you log them a couple days late, like you're on a trip, you're not going to put them for that current date because that would be not true.
Yeah, everybody's correct.
Unless you're doing a streak and then you're supposed to fudge all your numbers.
Yeah. Well, right. That's for another show.
Yeah.
They encourage you to do that. Also for privacy. If you don't want people to know when you were in a certain hey, it seems like every year he's in, Tennessee.
Right. Well, it shows that you're not at home, right? Because your home location.
Yeah.
It doesn't show your home location on there, but it doesn't take a genius to figure out where your home location is if you look at your caching stats, right? So somebody can figure out pretty quickly this person is on vacation.
Yes. Force Awakens has a good point. Caching while on a cruise, wait till you return so you don't get hit with the international data charges. That's for sure.
Should you do that with an FTF? Oh yeah, just to make everybody mad.
Just to drive those people crazy. Is that what you're saying? How many areas are in a geocaching
publishing ban? So some areas are currently in a publishing ban, it looks like, and I know we are for events, but That has less to do with guidelines, and that's currently due to restrictions.
Pizza Ninja. Yeah, you never log the day of. You want everybody else to go out there and because you'll take the icon off if you do that.
That's right. Then people won't rush out to get it. And according to geocaching.com, that's not an official stat they track, so there is no rules about FTFs on there.
That's correct. There are no rules for that. And Charles, we'll have people who agree and disagree. We thank you. We appreciate your comment.
They are overrated and inflated. I'm going to say that.
Or not appreciated enough. Who knows?
Maybe you're right.
Hey, Pizza Ninja. Nobody cares, but whatever that is, we go.
Oh, congratulations.
I don't.
You don't need to concern yourself with that, Gary. That's for advanced cachers.
That's for advanced cachers.
That's only for advanced cachers that publish Where I Goes.
Oh, I love me a good Where I Go. All right, next question. We're switching gears to souvenirs for a moment.
Oh gosh, I'm hosed. I have no idea. Okay,
I only did a couple of those. I didn't want to make it too crazy.
What you got?
Okay, the next 13 questions are on souvenirs. Okay, there have been souvenirs for 777 for July 7th, 2007, all the way up to 12/12/12. Obviously, you can't have anything after that. Is that true or false? Did they have a souvenir for 777, 888, 999, 101010?
I thought they started in 10. I'm going to say false.
Okay. I'm letting the chat room catch up.
I didn't think they started the souvenirs until 10-10-10.
We've gotten some trues. We got a false.
In fairness, I wasn't in the game, so I don't know. But I'm going to say false.
Oh, that's a cool one. 4321. That'd have been a fun one.
Oh, I like that one. Yeah.
Aaron says false. Oswald says I don't know. It is false. You are correct.
Okay.
And they only did them for 10-10-10 and 12-12-12.
Okay.
Why they didn't do it 11-11-11, I don't know. Or I didn't get it. But that's a very important guideline. Wow, we got some rough crowd here. It's in the guidelines. I'm just reading you what's in the guidelines. It's in there. Okay.
Hey, it's just weird geocaching knowledge, right?
It is, but it's in the guidelines actually. And so I grabbed it from guidelines. I cut and pasted it, and there you go. Now we're over to lab caches. We're bouncing around a little bit tonight.
Oh, lab caches.
Lab caches for all you Adventure Lab fans.
I'm a fan.
I'm a fan too.
Yeah, I wasn't at first, but I am now.
I am now. There are some good ones and some bad ones, and there's everything in between.
Okay. Oh, you're talking about labs. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
True or false?
I thought you meant the rules. I was like, I didn't know.
No. In the rules, it states this. Lab caches are included in pocket queries and will not result, let me read this right. Lab caches are included in pocket queries, but will not result in country souvenirs being awarded. So it's two questions. Are they in the pocket? Are they in pocket queries? We'll split it up.
I'm going to say they are not in pocket queries, and they do not result in country souvenirs.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Poorly worded question. Thank you. I'm sure somebody in the chat room will point that out.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be a bummer if you didn't realize that and you went to a new state or a new country and all you did was labs and you went back home and you've not cached in that country?
Oh, that would, yes. Well, and that's the thing is that there are several countries that don't have a souvenir yet. So
there are, but thankfully, if you've got the cache in the country and it's retroactive, you can get the souvenir later whenever they award the souvenir in that country. They make the art. Yeah.
And they'll backdate them. And, that is kind of a cool little item there. So,
and Kate said that she wishes they were on the geocaching map, except maps would be way too saturated.
Oh, yeah.
And we have heard that they're working on ways to do that, but that's their concern, right? Being overly saturated. That I'm pretty sure they would want to find a way to overlay it, but be able to filter it out for people that don't want to do it, right?
Yes.
They're very aware that people cache in many different ways, and you wouldn't want to be forced to see all of those on your map.
Yes.
If you didn't, and if it's sequential, you'd only get the first one anyway.
Right.
So they couldn't show you like the stages of a multi. They're not going to show you that because you have to go solve it. So they would only show the first one. So they're probably only going to show one, even if there's 5 or 10. Yeah, toggle. So filter it or toggle them on and off.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. As we're roaming around the guidelines, we're meandering. So enjoy the ride. Enjoy the
trivial geocaching knowledge.
Yes, sort of Pirates of the Caribbean. We're just going to roam around on this pirate ride, and we're going to catch different things. So next one, we're going back to the profile for a moment.
Oh, that wasn't much on labs. Okay.
No, I want to do more on labs. I didn't want to get too far into that.
Okay.
But you can have up to 3 profile photos to display on geocaching.com. So you can switch between, you have a profile photo.
Yeah, you have the banner and the thumbnail one.
Yeah. Just the profile photo. You can have up to 3. You can have multiples in your gallery.
Yeah. Up to 3. I'll say false because I thought there was only one.
Yeah, it's false.
Oh, okay.
I had to throw a false question in there.
You had me really curious in there for a minute.
You can't toggle.
I thought you were like, I know there's the profile picture and then there's the banner behind that.
Yeah.
I was thinking, man, is there a third one somewhere? Or like a little.
No.
Why would you need that? Nobody knows.
You'd have to remove it and put it back. Yeah. Okay, next question. That one wasn't that great. Sorry.
No, that was good. You had me thinking like, man, I don't know about this. I'm big about the profile page because I think that's really when you're, especially new cachers or whatever, that's how they kind of get your introduction to who you are.
Right.
A new cacher in the area, they find your cache, they look at your profile page, and that's a good place to have a lot of helpful information for people.
True. Okay, let's go back to Venture Labs. That was enough.
Okay. All right, back to Venture Labs.
Back to Venture Labs. Again, these are in the guidelines. So...
Here's what's funny.
What's that?
I know you're doing easy ones tonight, but almost everybody is getting all these correct.
Yeah, our chat
Some of them are a little tricky, right? But
we have an awesome chat.
The people that are in and I know the audio listeners won't be able to see what the chat room is.
Yeah.
But the chat room's killing it. They're getting all these correct. You're going to have to go harder next time.
We do. Okay. I can make them a little trickier, but I won't. Trick question is Scott says. Okay. Here we go. This is straight from I just cut and pasted. Here we go. For now, or maybe I didn't cut and paste it. Haha. For now, Geocaching HQ's first priority is to make sure that premium members who qualify receive at least 1 Adventure Lab credit. True or false?
That's taken out of context. However, I'm going to say true because I know before they double up, they're wanting to make premium members get the opportunity to hide them. The ones that are, with their qualifications are trying to do it. I'm going to say true.
That is true.
Okay.
And Husker Medic, you have to know, yeah, there's always a delay.
Oh, no. Okay.
Talking and people answering. Sorry.
Well, you know what we'll have to do next time we do this and you do the tricky questions?
Wait a little bit.
I will turn the chat off for me so they can answer first and then I'll answer so we can take out that delay and I won't be able to cheat by using the chat room.
Yeah.
And will really stump me next time.
There you go. Well, that's straight. Some people said false. That is true. That is actually written. I just cut and pasted on that one from the guidelines. It says, for now, HQ's first priority is to make sure that premium members who qualify, they have to qualify, receive at least 1 Adventure Lab credit. So there you go.
The ones that want it, right? They qualify by meeting certain standards and asking for 1.
Well,
so they're not going to force everybody to do 1.
True. Some people are getting them when they didn't ask for them.
I thought you had to put in for them.
No, not now. If you ask for 1, then they're going to check. But there's people that have gotten them. They're like, I didn't ask for this, but I mean, I might be able to do that. What? Oh, there's rules out there, Owen. under the
I
guideline.
forget what they are, but they have them posted. And they
Good standing.
You've had to have cached and owned a cache, and there's a few other things that you have to have done within the last 6 months or whatever. Maybe attended an event or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure the event part is not on there right now, but
yeah. Scott was right. You don't have to ask. That's correct.
Where's Geocache? I have one that I didn't use. I don't know if I still can.
You can.
They did extend for a lot of them, so if it's not the original round, you may still have it.
Correct.
In fact, if anybody has ones that they have not used, contact us. We have a fun idea.
Yes. Let us
contact
know.
us really soon, though, because we have a fun idea that can help you out.
geocachetalk@gmail.com. We have an idea. We need some spare Adventure Labs. They'll be yours still, but
you still own them. We're not trying to steal them, but we have an idea for you.
Yeah.
That'll be a lot of fun and
I think
interesting. We're not going to say out loud, though. So
yeah, you have to email us. Okay, next question. If you or your organization receive something of value, including promotional value, by creating an Adventure Lab, you must add the following text to the description, in quotes. This adventure is sponsored by, and then you have to name your business or group. Is that true or false?
That is true.
You are correct. That is true. You have to put explicit information that you have promotional if that makes sense.
Yeah, like if it's sponsored by somebody or, Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next question. You can require players, still on Adventure Labs.
Okay.
You can require players to pay a small fee for a product, service, or access to your Adventure Lab. True or false?
No, false.
Okay, I'll read the question again.
You cannot require players to pay a fee for access to an Adventure Lab.
You can require players to pay a small fee for a product, service, or Adventure Lab, or access to your Adventure Lab is false. Yes, you are.
False. That's definitely false.
I just wondered.
Buy a candy bar for the. No, you cannot do that.
No. In fact, it says the opposite. So, but I had to throw in some false questions. All right, next one.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely not true.
Come on, it sounds fun.
That's like selling Adventure Labs. Like no. That's a whole new aspect that they're not getting into for sure.
They're not touching that one. Okay, next question. You'll love this. This was in the rule. This was actually in the guidelines, or is it in the guidelines? Your favorite topic, the DT rating.
Oh, gosh.
If your cache turns out to be more difficult than you thought, adjust the DT ratings so that the community knows what to expect. True or false?
So I'm going to answer this, I'm going to disagree.
Let me put it in a banner so people can really drive this one home, okay? This is critical. This is a critical question. Critical? Maybe? I guess. Important question. If your cache turns out to be more difficult than you thought, adjust the DT rating so that the community knows what to expect. True or false?
I'm going to say that is true.
Oh, you're horrible. True. Jesse, do you not understand?
And it is also wrong.
Do you not understand the ramifications of what you're saying?
I wish that rule would change so bad. That is just, I understand. Okay. First of all, is that correct? Is it true?
Yeah.
Yes, and I believe with Fox too. Here's what I think, and I'm going to disagree with Headquarters on this one. I don't care. You'll have people that'll do them like on an island, and then it freezes over, and you can walk to the island instead of using a boat, and they'll change the terrain during times of the year. That is a terrible plan for a game that's based on statistics. That is terrible. Yeah. Don't do that. either disable it during that time or archive your cache or place a new one. Don't change the ratings after they're already out. I think that's a terrible, legal but terrible.
Yes. Well, encouraged, but terrible. That's encouraged by the guy from the guidelines to do.
And it's a terrible plan.
It is bad. We need to let's get Brian on the phone right now.
Yeah. Here's what I would say. If you're doing what you should be doing, it shouldn't change, right? Like, hide your cache and then have it beta tested.
Yeah.
Then do it. Now, the one example, if you didn't beta test because you're just too lazy to do it, and you say, you know what, I'm just going to let the first person find it, and then I'll change my ratings after that. If it's one person, I can see how you would go. The guy goes, hey, this is 30 feet in the air. This needs to be higher.
Yeah.
And you change it. But not after somebody's found it and more people have found it.
Yes.
Then you're messing with people.
Yeah, that's the one caveat. And Kate brings up the caveat that I think is okay, which is she changed one recently that was not found about 5 times before FTF. So
right.
I think I think it's perfectly fine to change it up until that point. And then after that, you're messing with people's stuff at that point. Right?
Yeah. And there's another good, I'm trying to catch up with the chat room.
You're fine.
So Cache the Line has a good point. And this would be HQ's reasoning for it. So I think their justification is that they don't want to make it about, the numbers statistics. Sure. It's primarily about the people finding geocaches.
Mm-hmm.
True, but there's certain statistics like geocaching supported statistics, like on your cache page and your profile statistics, they tell you when you finish your fizzy loop.
Yeah.
Or twice or 3 times. And that could change you out of that. If that's the only one you find and then somebody changes that number afterwards, you don't have that anymore.
Yes.
So I understand this. The game is not about the numbers, but I personally will always believe that once you publish a cache, that should be locked. You shouldn't change stuff afterwards.
Yeah.
If it changes so substantially that you need to change on your cache page, you should do a new cache.
Yeah.
Because people, work and do trips and everything else based around this stuff. And whether it should be about something or not, it is.
Yeah. And it's not, we have to.
And it's, So Pizza Ninja brought up a good point too. That rule is oriented towards newer users. I agree.
Yeah.
But again, I would say, 1, you should have some experience where you hide a cache. And 2, you really should beta test the cache before you put it out there. I know everybody's in a hurry to get caches out, but you should have more than one set of eyes on something, especially like a puzzle or something of a higher terrain.
Right.
To get it right before you put it out there.
Yeah. I like Kate says you can lock them maybe after a month. That's not a bad idea, but I think once somebody finds it, I think that there's, I think it's important to think about others. Some say, Husker Medic says it is about the numbers. My point to it is,
well, again, there's no one size fits all in this, right? No, but and you can look at this many ways, and we can have this discussion for a whole hour itself. Easy.
My point is, think about others and not just you. So just because you care or don't care about the numbers, you should always think about what does somebody else think about. Think about others. Do they care about it or do they not care about it? Yeah. They might care about it. Therefore, you as a cache owner are sort of, in a sense, responsible for being a good owner of the cache.
Yeah. So, you want accurate DT.
Right.
But if it changes, sometimes that cache is not what you put out. So it's different, right? I mean,
redo it.
Yeah. Because I know we can get into it all day long, right? There's an argument for it all day long, but anyway, okay, that was quite a sidetrack from that question.
No, that's good. A couple more questions. This is an interesting one. This one is actually a fill in the blank, so I'm going to let you kind of think about it a little bit, and come up with an answer. We'll let the chat room mull over this one as well. This is again back to profiles. This has to do with kids. Okay. Although individuals under a certain age are welcome to geocache, their parents or guardians must own and manage their accounts. Now, you probably know the answer to this because you have daughters
Mm-hmm.
who geocache, who might have their own accounts.
They do.
Do you know what age that they are supposed to, under a certain age, they are supposed to have their cache page owned by their parents? Charles is guessing 13. That's one guess. So there's a
Yeah, I'll let a couple people
yeah.
jump in there before I give my answer.
Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely does. And I
6. Yeah, I think 7-year-olds shouldn't have their own account yet. Some are saying 12, 11. 11-year-old handles his own business. Yeah, I could see that. Somebody said 16.
I can tell you that my youngest daughter had a
13.
caching account younger than this age.
Sherry says 10. You can, but it's supposed to be owned by you, though.
Right.
So
well, they're all owned by me anyway, right? I mean,
right. But yeah, they can have an account at one day, which is so many people have that, but
absolutely.
they don't own it in a sense. You are the parent and guardian of that. 21. That's an interesting guess.
Yeah. My 21-year-old does have an account.
Yeah.
But so does my 14-year-old. And in fact, she's had one since she was 5. So 55.
Is that right. You can't drive 55? Is that it?
I'm gonna
Ryan's saying legally you could see 17 and under, but
yeah, I was thinking 14, but so many people are saying 13. I'm gonna go with them. I'm gonna trust them and say 13.
My son says when they start paying their own bills.
Oh, well then never mind. None of my daughters have it yet then.
That could be 30, yeah. Or how old are you, Josh? No, I'm kidding. He's been on his own long enough now.
I'm thinking it's somewhere 12, 13, 14, but most people are saying 13, so I'm going to say 13.
Yeah, they say 16 in the guideline.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that.
At 16, you start having some responsibility, so I'm not opposed. I thought it used to be 14, but
maybe it has changed. Yeah,
but 16 seems pretty good. Really, 18 makes sense though, right?
It does. Legal.
18 is when you're a legal adult. You're kind of responsible for yourself.
But 18 in our country may mean something else in some other country.
Oh, good point. You know what? You're right.
Oh, my son put out, you can drive.
13 is Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. Kate's like by 16, they were over caching, so they're done.
You know, my oldest, she was kind of over caching in a while, but when we get together for family vacations, she still goes with us. So she still has her own account. And she actually owns, the only one that she still owns is kind of like a rare DT out in the mountains.
Yeah. That
people trek for. So and it's a letterbox. So she doesn't archive it for that reason, right? Sure. Even though I maintain that for her, she doesn't archive it because it's one that people really try hard for. You got like over the river and through the woods, up the mountains kind of deal. Right.
Charles had a good point. He was thinking 13 just because of Facebook.
Yeah.
Charles was thinking Facebook, which makes sense. Direwolf saying that the drinking age in Wisconsin is 16.
Drinking water.
Not sure about that.
Yeah. Here's what I would say with all that. Whatever the age is, if you have your kids caching, which hopefully everybody does, you still have to think about it just like social media. There's a lot of protections you need to put in place for them.
Yeah.
Be safe about it. Because anybody can contact them, right? So kind of, cachers are generally good people, but you still got to be careful. If your kids have an account, make sure you're still kind of controlling that and be careful with them. Yes.
No, absolutely. And people need to realize that you take whatever precautions you need to take. My wife, when she, of course, she's now working in the regular schools, I'm sure they have similar rules. But when my wife worked for a church, she had to always check, can this child's picture be put on Facebook?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And some would say, yeah, you have permission, we don't care. Others would say, no, you have to. And so my wife would go through and block, put a little smiley face. It's sort of weird looking, because she wanted to post because they're like, this photo has to be posted. She had the rules.
Well, there's many reasons for that too, right? We don't think about a lot of those things, like custody issues, right?
Sure.
Or there's people who do not need to have their face or their kid's face
right
tagged in a certain location because
absolutely
of, all kinds of serious issues that we're not going to get into, right? But
yeah,
so you got to think about that kind of stuff when you have kids caching, which you should always have kids caching, but
yes,
still make sure you do oversight with that.
Yeah, that's important, and just know that you don't have to have those. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, Jesse, because you've been doing a lot of earth caches, but you can require a picture, but you can't require somebody's face in the picture.
Right. You can a proxy. So a picture of them or their proxy So you can't require a picture of their face.
Right.
Yeah.
Take a picture of their foot or whatever, and it'll suffice as
right, or GPS or caching name or whatever else. You can use all kinds of proxies, right?
Yep. All right, a couple more, and again, we'll do this again. Thanks for everybody for being here. We've got a few more to do, but hopefully people enjoyed it. I did schedule this again a little ways out to do another round of guidelines, because there's a whole chapter I basically left out that I want to get to separately. So this is a fascinating question. I want to see if you can get this, because it's a little tricky. Maybe we'll see the chat room. There are actually 4 status types in geocaching. And what I mean by that is, I'll give you one, and you tell me if you can get the other.
I already know what you're talking about.
Oh, do you? Okay. What are the statuses?
I know at least what road you're going down, right? So member
is one of them, basic, or referred to as a basic
member.
Yeah.
Premium member.
Which one?
Premium member.
There's 2.
Charter member.
Oh, you got the one I thought was the toughest.
And then
charter member.
The one for reviewer, volunteer reviewer, or volunteer.
I can't believe you got charter. Dang.
Yeah, whatever I know some. So volunteer review or reviewer, the ones that work, the lackeys. Volunteer reviewer.
Yeah. Some people are lackey, but reviewer. Yeah. In the rules, it mentions member, which is a basic member, premium member, obviously the paid members, which is cheap as dirt. I can't.
Hold on. Member who owes money.
Member who owes money.
That would be premium, yes.
Which is
I love this. Robert trumped the question.
Dirt cheap. Blocked user. Ooh.
That's a whole different thing we didn't get into tonight, which we can sometime.
Yeah.
You can opt out of the API partner stuff.
Yeah, that though is different, because the way they're logging it through a different means, which means that they're not participating in the API.
Yeah.
And so forth. So, yeah.
Yeah. Opted out user. That's the one.
Yeah, that's another one. It's not really a status, though. That's more of a...
Right.
Oh, Vince has deleted user. Yeah, that's actually...
I've seen that one.
Yeah. That
you can request that your account be deleted.
Yeah. And then when you go in, as Vince points out, I'm sure what he's saying then is, if you go look, it's like, who's this person? They found my cache, but they're deleted user, because they're no longer on they were asked to be deleted. So technically there's only 4 statuses.
Right.
Member, premium member, charter member, which interesting. Does a charter member, what features do they get? Just regular basic membership, or do they get premium membership? Even though
I would assume they get premium membership for life.
Yeah, they do. They get premium membership for life.
Yeah.
No longer, obviously, there's no more charter members, because we're past that.
You can't buy into that. Although you probably could. If you wrote a big enough check, I bet you could buy into that.
Yeah. Kicked out member. I like that.
Kicked out member. Suspended.
Suspended is different. Yeah, we've known a few that have been suspended, but
it does happen.
They stay. They can stay a premium member. They just can't log anything, and all their caches go disabled. That's for another show. Okay, couple more items that I had down here. Okay, so the scenario is that your cache is you're putting your cache on disabled. You're disabling your cache.
Right.
In the guidelines, how long are you supposed to, what is the reasonable amount of time that you are allowed to have your cache disabled before they come ask you about it? You can have it longer.
I do know the answer to this one.
At one point, are they at one point?
I know what you're asking.
Are they suggesting that you don't cross over?
I will let a few people in the chat room guess first, and then I'll give my guess.
A lot are saying 30 days, a few weeks.
Yeah, that's close, but that's not what they say in the guidelines.
No, there is a specific time in the guidelines that they want you to do one of two things, which is either
Teresa is close. She's about 60%. I mean, 50% over.
Yeah.
4 weeks is the answer.
What's the answer?
4 weeks.
4 weeks is correct. That is exactly right. 4 weeks is in the, you know that one.
I do know that one. I may have played around with that before.
Kate's saying in the rules it says
longer if they just don't notice.
Don't notice. No.
Now, here's what I'll tell you too, though, and 3 weeks, 21 days. I will say that reviewers are awesome about this.
They are.
If you say like this area is closed for a certain reason, or there's something major going on, they're going to contact you, but they're going to ask you a question, right? If it's reasonable, they'll probably extend it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're talking about what's suggested in the guidelines. Now, the reviewer may be more on top of that and contacting you way quicker, right?
Yeah. More than that. Now, one of our network folks contacted us today and said that they had seen, I won't tell you which one, there's only 10 of us, that they saw a geocacher who I don't even know their name, but they got all uppity with their reviewer because they're like, why do you keep asking me these dumb questions about my cache being disabled? It's none of your business. I can disable my cache for as long as I want. And Tom outed himself. So Tom says, for a reviewer I saw today, without monthly updates from the cache owner, there's no way of knowing. That's exactly right. There's no way of knowing a cache hasn't been abandoned. He'll check back approximately 30 days. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Get attitude with the reviewer.
Yeah, that's real smart.
They don't get paid enough to be nice to you.
Yeah, they don't get paid. Yeah.
That's right. They're not going to put up with that crap.
I don't blame them. Yeah. And so I knew that was going to come up. We were talking about it earlier today. Tom
they are cachers too that get paid nothing to help this game go.
Exactly.
Keep going. Just be reasonable with them and they'll be reasonable with you.
Cut them some slack, people.
Yes. Don't be silly.
Please cut them some slack. If you get now, granted, I think you and I both, at least I know I have, I'll get the message and I actually feel bad because like, oh, dang it. I don't want to get to that point. You know what I mean? I don't want to get to where my reviewer has to prod me.
Right. I want to stay on top of things. Everybody makes mistakes, but I want to stay on top of things and help. But which is exactly why I do not have the right temperament to be a reviewer.
Right. Just finding a way uppity with reviewers doesn't get you far.
It doesn't get you too far. No, it does not.
Yeah, Tom Jameson, good point. A new cache I'm posting has construction on site. Post every 3 to 4 weeks.
So that's perfect. Yeah. Just let them know what's going on. That's all they need.
Yeah. Sarah, I come across some rude cachers Some.
She's met the only 2 rude cashers. I met them too, though. There's only 2 of them, but I met them also.
I think I've met more than 2. Sorry,
Hey,
Jesse.
no, That's bad news.
Yeah, there's quite a few. Tom, reviewer, a job I would never want.
No, I'm there with Tom.
I am so
They
appreciative.
don't pay enough for me.
Yeah. But just let them know. And that's what you do. Just let them know. And I try to set myself on, you got a computer right here. Most people do of some type.
Yeah, most people do.
Make yourself a reminder and just put a note in there in less than 28 days. Make a note and to say, I had one yesterday that I went and took care of it yesterday.
Yeah. And that is part of the contract. When you put out a cache and list it on geocaching.com,
yeah,
you're supposed to maintain your cache. That's part of that contract you're signing.
Yeah, that's kind of for another show too. Okay, 2 more. Then we'll wrap up for tonight.
Okay, all right. I'm good. Let's get some good ones.
All right, here we go. This is in the guidelines, or is it? We encourage you to find at least X number of geocaches before hiding one. The more variety of geocaches you find, the better you will understand how to create an enjoyable experience for other geocachers. Obviously, it's in the rules, but what do they suggest? How many geocaches? You see this?
Yeah, I remember reading this before, and I know it wasn't in there in the past.
A couple of people said we've seen 100 suggested.
Lower than 100.
50 was one suggestion.
And I think it's higher than 10. I think it's around.
Husker Medic says 10.
I remember a weird number.
Darren
How about
says 100?
30.
You're going to say 30.
I'm going to say 30 because I remember reading a while back, and I remember thinking that is a really random number because it wasn't like 10 and it wasn't like 25. It was some odd number. Not odd being even or odd, but I mean, like, I thought it was weird.
Fishing Kitty, 10 caches, but I prefer 50 to 100 finds. Just
finding our way to 20. 20 is a good. I'm going to stick with 30, though.
Just Finding Our Way says 20.
17. It says 17.
How random is that? Or is that the question about the children of 50 unwritten rules of geocaching? Yeah, that would make a good book, I guess. They change it regularly, 20 or 50.
Well, things do change, right? Because like we talked about earlier, the how long should a cache be out there to not be temporary? Yeah, I know at one time it was a year, and then they changed it to 6 months, and now it's just 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months.
So that's over 10 years or so that it's changed. But
changed, yeah. Wouldn't it be interesting to go back and see like all
how the rules have changed?
Yeah, all the deltas, like get a version of it with it like highlighted or something. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, the answer is 42. That's interesting.
That's always the answer to everything, isn't it?
It should be the answer, shouldn't it? You need to have 42. No, it says 20 in the guidelines. You're correct.
20? Okay.
20.
I thought it was something weird like 30, but 20 is pretty close.
Yeah, Daniel says not in the guidelines. It actually is. It's in the guidelines.
20, okay. 20. I knew it was something low, but I knew it wasn't like 25 or anything like that.
Yeah, 20.
20, okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of a random number in my opinion.
And the next one, I threw it in there. I'm skipping over some of them.
That's okay. We'll do it again.
We'll do it again.
So, first of all, does anybody agree that 20 does anything? Here, I wish they would add. I know they're trying not to like a hard line on that, but like 20 traditionals doesn't help you hide one multi. See,
Terraviator says if someone finds 20, are they set? Yeah. Well, they are to hide an LPC.
Well, and first of all, they said it's a suggestion, right? It's not a rule.
No, it's not. It's not.
They're saying they encourage you to find caches.
Yes, they encourage you to find at least 20. That's supposedly the idea.
Yeah.
Too low. I've seen that. Yeah. Charles says it does lead to crappy caches.
It does sometimes.
It does. Yeah, it does sometimes. Now, I only found, I think Susan, I'd found 6 before I hit a cache. And I think it was a decent cache because I mean, obviously copied what I'd seen. That's the problem you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm going to hide.
You've only seen 6 crappy caches.
Right.
You know, but
Right.
here's the opposite to this. And, you know, obviously the more experience you have, the better caches you're going to hide, right? That just seems like a general rule. However, there's one guy on this network that hasn't hidden that many, found that many caches.
Right.
Overall, right? But hide some of the best and create some of the best caches in the world.
Yes.
So we all know who we're talking about. But, I mean, he's not a prolific finder.
No.
That guy's can create better caches than I've ever thought about creating. So,
yeah.
So the rule is very gray, and that's why I think they don't have a rule. And we could probably get into this another show, but Sarah asked, yeah. So you did say, what do you recommend? My recommendation, the short version, we really should talk about this again, but the short version is get a little experience and have some ideas of some good caches. Until you go out and find a good cache, like if you go out and you go, that's amazing, I want to make that, you may have found enough already. If you go out and you found like 2 or 3 and you're like, man, this is not that exciting, I don't know, but you may have an idea for an awesome cache. So when you're ready and confident that you can put out something good that people are really going to like, that's when you're ready to hide a cache.
Yeah. I think it's important to see different things. Like you said, it's important.
And there you go. Define good. We can't.
Good. Yeah, that's a good question.
That's individual user's experience, right?
That's a good question. It is. But if you're putting out, if you've only found, and this is kind of weird, most people, traditionals are your first find. But if you've never found a multi, are you going to put one out? Maybe you're going to do the research.
And before, like, some people love LPCs.
Yeah.
And people with over 10,000 hide junk. That's true. And quality doesn't really mean the type of hide. And, you know, we're going to get so off sideways.
Yeah.
I'm not against LPCs. Now, I found a bunch of them, and they're not exciting usually.
No.
But we can pull up some examples of some that are awesome.
Yes.
And some people like finding those. Yes, because for one thing, getting the whole terrain ratings, those are available for certain people, right?
Yep.
Some people need to find those. Tree hides are not for everybody, you know.
Right.
Multis are not for everybody.
Yep.
Quality is quality. You know.
Yes.
I don't think anybody would argue that a half ripped off label off a medicine bottle thrown under a bush is a quality cache. So we could really get into the details, but there's no point in doing that tonight, right?
What if that bush is at the top of the Grand Canyon and the overlook is like the greatest overlook in the world?
Here's a good point, geocaching Adam. Now that would be a good one, but still hide a better container.
I guess
even though I know reviewers are cachers, if you look at their profile, most have 0 finds, makes it look fishy to some people. What a lot of people don't realize, and it is written somewhere, but reviewers have their own account also. Yeah, the reviewer account is separate. They have their own geocaching account, which is what they geocache under typically.
Typically, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Strickers 11 LPC. And we'll wrap up with some final thoughts on this. But yeah, I have an LPC in town. I specifically put it at a motel because or hotel because I know people are rolling through town and they want to find one real quick. In fact, we've talked about this before. I've had more than one time where somebody has said, I didn't have a car. I was in a bus with a bunch of, I was on a, whatever their outing was. I was, and we rolled into town. I don't have a car. I wanted to find a cache. I was able to walk to it, walk back to the hotel, done. So there are maybe a couple times when an LPC, fits.
Well,
There was
I've
no
got one
other-
exactly like that. I've got an LPC that's got 30 favorite points.
That's right. Is that the Where I Go?
It is, and it's made specifically for that reason. It's a 1-1 Where I Go, but it's
Yes.
made because it's a hotel where people stay when they're going through DIA, the airport, and flying off again, and they usually want to stop and get a cache real quick,
Right.
and they don't always want a traditional because they're doing streaks or whatever else.
Yeah.
So it's about the easiest Where I Go you can ever do. I think that's even what it says. This is the easiest Where I Go, and it's got 30 favorite points. And people are the comment I get all the time is, "Thank you for having a non-traditional here where I can get it and not have to like rent a car or whatever." And it's an LPC. It's a legit LPC. There's nothing special about it. It's a Where I Go, but I mean, and people are very grateful for that. So
yes,
the type of cache doesn't define quality.
I do love that though. Such a great idea. Congratulations. You found you get to the Where I Go. Begin. Is it like it's just a start?
Yeah, it basically shows an arrow and it starts like 10 feet from it. It shows an arrow and goes, "Look up." And it's got a picture of the lamppost that's in front of you.
Yeah.
Right in front of it, goes, "Look up," and it's there. And you like walk 10 feet and it's there.
There it is.
But,
Congratulations.
it's a 1-1. One difficulty. You can't make it much harder than that, right? So
exactly. Perfect. Yeah. All right. Well, good deal. So hopefully everybody had fun. Yes, I was a little wonky on this one. I was all over the place, but I found some cool stuff, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And if you want to be, I don't want to call it elite or anything like that, but if you want to be a go-to geocacher in your area, you need to know the rules.
Yeah.
I know their guidelines are not technically rules. They say should and all that other stuff in them, but why not know the rules? They're fun. It's fun to know the rules of the game that you're playing.
Absolutely.
Plus, how can you break the rules if you don't know what they are?
Now that is very true.
That's the fun part.
But yeah, but it is important. I mean, some of them are really good guidelines.
Yeah,
they really are. So
yeah, they're there for safety, and they think about the big picture and stuff like that. They have to. So
yeah. So all right, cool. Well, so again, quick note for upcoming shows. I do want to mention before we wrap up tonight, we do have some cool shows coming up. Next week, Komakino and the Kid are going to be on with us. Speaking about, families, they've been on with geocaching with kids, but we're going to have them on to talk a little bit about caching with kids. I think that'll be interesting because they're they do some cool hides. They've had some cool finds. I think that'll be fun to talk to them about that. We are going to do a couple shows, and then before Mingo, we're not too far away, but we are going to do a show live from Mingo. We're going to try to go live whenever we can during Mingo Madness week, because pretty much, well, it's kind of like last time. We've got almost everybody being able to make it. Jeff would love to go, but he can't. He's still stuck in Canada.
Yeah, he's kind of legally restricted from it.
Yeah. Emily couldn't make it. She was hoping to, but she can't make the trip. We've got a lot of people who are going to make the trip. If you're a patron, stay tuned. We're going to try to get you some more information about what we're doing. So if you're a patron, just know that we're going to get you some more information. We do have a patron event set up.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have breakfast together, so make sure you make note of that. If you can make it for even part of that time. I know some people are going to be coming in a little bit later, but we'll be there for a little while. So
right, yeah, we're going to be there, for like
hour and a half
days.
At least. Yeah, we'll be in town. Yeah,
and I guess not only patrons too, right? So anybody that's listening, if you want to, we want to meet all of you. Yeah, now we're going to have special patron events, so we're going to sneak away and hang out and do the friend thing. But for anybody that's listening, that we absolutely want to meet everybody. That's our favorite part of it. So go caching if you want to. We're going to jump. We're going to be doing a bunch of caching too. So
absolutely,
group caching is great. Please, whether we can shake hands or not, you got to do the air fives or the elbow bumps or whatever nowadays, right? But
whatever you feel comfortable doing.
We want to meet everybody. Please let us find you there.
Yes. If you're an audio or if you watch on YouTube, either way, and you're not a patron, that's fine too. Just come see us. We will have a booth at.
Ryan says he might be able to be there.
Yeah, you might be there. So, yes, Mingo Madness is May 8th in good old Kansas. Yes. So, again, come by the booth. We'll have things for you there. Come by and see us. Jess are going to bring some books. We'll bring
cat tags and books and fun stuff.
We'll have some coins, but we're going to be a little bit limited on coins because we're selling them mostly through the shop. But I do have some that I haven't sent to our shop folks. So, definitely come by if you want to buy a coin. Come on by, and visit the maze exhibit. Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's going to be cool stuff in the maze. I don't know. That's a good question. Will the sunflowers be flowering? Or is the wheat growing at this point, I assume?
I have no idea.
Yeah. So, no.
Ryan said no.
No, Tom, not yet. Two Pineapple says aloha. So, hey, we love some Hawaii caching. I found some cool caches in Hawaii. I know you did too.
I enjoyed Hawaii myself.
I mean, one of my favorite ones was a little tricky because it was buried, wasn't buried, but it was, and what I mean by buried, it was around a corner, and I had to get over some old lava, and it's a little tricky because some of that lava is sharp, and I didn't have the correct footwear to be doing what I was doing.
Oh yeah,
but I made it to there. I maneuvered myself there to get a ammo can. Had to, it was an ammo can. So yeah, we've had some good caching there. So all right, enough of that. We'll see everybody next Sunday or Tuesday. Puzzle Talk.
Yep.
So Puzzle Talk's gonna be doing over some interesting guidelines. So like Guidelines Week, they're gonna be going over some guidelines about puzzles and multi caches and stuff. So definitely catch Puzzle Talk this week. So, all right, here we go.
May your finds be many and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. And may we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.
There we go. Good night, everybody.